Yay!
There we go.
Here we are.
I'm interviewing Wyatt. This is Jody from the Joy Love Bus, interviewing Wyatt Botorf, my partner, and I'm going to ask him the 6 questions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We turned it to 6 now.
So, Wyatt, what brings you joy?
What does bring me joy? Anything I can do. Anything I can do to... How is it? To make people work better. To make things move more smoothly. To make things work together with less friction, with less conflict, I suppose would be a good word. With less conflict.
Okay. What do you love?
Anything that surprises me. Anything that isn't what I expect it to be. Because, that's the stuff that really teaches you.
What's holding you back?
Oh no, that's something I think I could say that I know a lot about. That's all me, because you can't say that it's someone else that held you back when you just didn't do something. So, yeah, anything I can say that's holding me back has got something to do with me. I don't think there's one example that's not the case.
What are you afraid of?
Exact same answer. That's what I could do, what I could be, in good ways and bad ways. It could be anything that I'm afraid I could take too far, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Just because I know that there are no limits to it, and that's a scary thing.
It definitely can be. What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Oh no, that's the easy one. That's a really easy one. That's all you.
No, seriously.
Yes, really.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you? Why? Why do you say I'm the best?
Because you brought me to the greater world. If it weren't for you, I'd still be wondering where should I go first. I just spent the last 3 years wondering where should I start instead of just starting. And I think that's something that we've had a lot to think about. Is just starting.
Yeah, we definitely have. What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
Well, no matter how much I think about it, I don't think I can give a real answer to any one circumstance, any situation. But I think this might go far beyond me, but anyone who sets you aside, who says they want nothing to do with you without ever even stopping to try and understand, I think that's the worst thing that could happen to anybody. And it happens to everybody. There's no real avoiding it. Not that I've seen at least.
That casts you aside without understanding what? Like who you are and what you're about? Why?
If you had to put it to a word, it's why. Not just who you are, not just what you do, not just where you came from, everything, It's really is strange to me that there are people out there that even don't care about where everybody comes from, about what everybody does, about why they are who they are, I think that's absurd. I think that's a waste of potential. You could meet 10,000 people in a day, and if you don't talk to any one of them, what's it matter?
That's beautiful.
10,000 opportunities lost, isn't it?
That's really beautiful.
And not that that's just other people's problem. That's me too.
So when we get the Joy Love Bus, what do you see yourself doing when we travel the country?
Oh, that's a good question. I see us making ourselves a part of 1 million people's lives. Whether it's directly or indirectly, whether it's for a minute or for a lifetime,
Doing what?
Well, the way I see it, whatever we can do to help.
But what particular skills do you bring to the road?
Okay, now what do
you personally bring to this journey?
Good food and a way to get rid of it.
All right, elaborate for the people that don't know what you're into.
Oh man, I do a lot of things, but I think anything to do with plants is what people will tell me. That's what I do. But
you're the plant man. That's for sure.
I see that it goes a lot beyond that. You know, because you can know plants all day, but if you don't know how to give it to someone, or you don't know, so that's in the context of herbalism. In the context of herbalism, that is how not just people but animals interact with plants. And so as much as you can know about the plants, it doesn't mean a thing if you can't get it into someone's mouth. And the same with animals. They're a lot easier. They won't, you know, they won't be one of those that just says, "Oh, I don't want nothing to do with you. You think you're crazy." You know, if you can give them something tasty, they'll know what it does for them. Yeah, but I grew up doing landscaping, native landscaping. Very few and far between. No one does that, you know. Not in the commercial businesses. And that really set me up to do regenerative agriculture, or permaculture. I think permaculture is my favorite term, because it's more encompassing than just plants. So regeneration agriculture is not sustainable agriculture. It's going way the other end of, so you have unsustainable, sustainable right in the middle. It's your 0 point. And then you have regenerative, that actually takes what has been broken, what has been lost, what has been broken down, and building it back up. So just like the tree of life only gets larger and more complicated and only more intertwined, that's what you want your systems to do. And so you're taking the degraded ecosystems we put together and turning them into something at least as vital as what was there before. That's the idea of regenerative agriculture. Except being agriculture, it's focused on useful plants, things that will do things. So whether it's food or medicine or cordage or fuel or whatever. And then there's the permaculture aspect, and permaculture being permanent agriculture. Well, see, the words have gotten mixed up. It's not just permanent agriculture anymore, it's permanent culture. And I think this is a wonderful thing, because that's what we're looking for, is a culture that could sustain itself indefinitely, that could do good rather than doing harm by its very nature, you know? So that's architecture, infrastructure, how you get your water, and how you grow the plants. So that's how you feed yourselves, that's how you clothe yourselves, that's how you build your structures, it's everything. And it's how you get along. Because it's not just agriculture anymore, it's permanent culture. So, and that goes along with one of the three basic ethical tenets, you know. What is it? Was it earth care, fair share, and earth care, people care, and fair share. So you have taking care of the earth. It's priority number 1. Without it, we don't have anything. Priority 2 is taking care of the people, because without people, they ain't gonna help you.
That's my specialty.
Yeah, that's not me, but I'm learning. And then you have fair share. So anything that's in overabundance gets spread around, which is, you know, when you get down to it, anything could be in overabundance. It's just a matter of getting it to the right people in the right ways. You know, like with the current food system, 1/3 of the food gets thrown out before it ever gets to a supermarket. It's ridiculous. If your food wasn't so far away from you, it wouldn't get thrown out, would it?
Okay, so if we're traveling the country, if we go meet up with people, you're going to help them. You're going to use your herbalism to help heal them, and teach them how to heal themselves.
Yes. Teaching is tenet number 1,
yes,
for sure.
And then you're going to teach them how to grow their own food and make the best use of the resources that they already have readily available.
Now see, that's the thing. I don't care about growing your own food. You can leave that if you want. Figuring out how to use the food that you already have everywhere. That's number 1. You know, no one does that. But The nutritional value is so exponentially more. You know, you can have someone that's completely malnourished, eats every day, eats 3 meals, but you add a little bit of wild food to it, and all of a sudden it's starting to go away. And that's because it hasn't been watered down. And by watered down, I mean almost literally watered down, because the nutrients, not only the nutrients in the soil gone, but the plant has been forced to grow so fast, both genetically and through its cultivation, that it's not picking up any of the trace minerals that are there. It doesn't have the time to mature properly and get for the compounds in it to start interacting amongst each other and becoming more complicated and more complicated and more complicated. And see, I can go real deep into that. Really,
you can go deep in anything regarding plants. So basically, what I've seen is you know how to walk onto someone's property that you've never seen before, and you can give them a catalog of every plant that is already there and how it can serve them for food, for medicine, how they can best use what's already there on their land to serve them the best way possible while they are serving the plants to keep them thriving and keep the earth growing. Is that a good summation of what you do?
Yeah, I think that is the favorite part of what I do. My favorite part. I mean, making medicine is up there. You know, making medicine with the plants, I think, has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had. But I think that is my real calling, though, is to teach people what they can do with what they have. I'll never claim to know what every plant does or the name of every plant, but being able to walk onto, like you said, a piece of property I've never been on, and identify 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 things is really, taught me about how much I can do, about how much potential there's there. And not just potential for myself, of course, but how easy it is to educate, I mean, you can get, now, of course, some people will never be botanists, but you can teach anybody how to identify one plant, You can say, well, okay, look at this. This is the plant. This is the one we're looking at. And they'll say, well, doesn't that look like it? Okay, yeah, it does look like it. But this shows you that it's not. And, it could be a shape on a leaf, or part of the flower, or what the bark looks like on a tree. Anyway, my point being is that it doesn't need to be as overwhelming as it is to someone like me who's trying to do it,
We're back with Wyatt, and he just watched his video back. How did that make you feel to see yourself on video?
Well, I guess it was good to see myself on video for the first time since 8 or 9 years old, when I was doing the Patrick County Animal Welfare Society. We get on the local news with me and my brother, and we take a couple of puppies with us and show them off, and get them on the news.
Cute little kids showing cute little puppies
right.
to make people want to come on down.
It worked. I don't know, maybe I'm still cute enough that people will give in to my desire.
I think you are. So, I noticed when you were watching the video that you were tearing up a little.
Was I?
It appeared so. You seem I just felt a lot of emotion coming off of you when you were watching yourself back. And I was just curious what that was about.
No, I guess, if anything, it was just appreciative of being able to see it, Yeah, I guess it's a symptom of not spending enough time with oneself,
Do you feel changed at all from watching yourself back on video?
In I wouldn't call it vague, but subtle way. Because vague would mean that I couldn't tell you what it is. But I think it is describable. It is a powerful thing. It is very moving to have your sense of presence, It's like someone who just got started driving a car, they don't really know where they fall on the road because they haven't felt their car yet, And then a few weeks, a few months, a few hundred hours of it, and you get to the point where, I know where I am, and I know what I'm doing. And I think that really, that really enhances that feeling. Makes it happen a lot faster.
Does knowing that, what you just said, make you want to do more video?
Oh, of course. I mean, I already knew that I needed it. But it does.
What changes have you seen in me since I started the video project?
Oh my. Everything I just said, the confidence, the knowing your place more. And more than that, more than the confidence, it's also self-reflection, So you don't just have more confidence in your abilities, you know your abilities, And I think that's where confidence really comes from, is having a true knowledge. Not an assumption, not an approximation, true knowledge.
So do you see that being something that you would want for yourself?
Certainly. Yeah, I feel that it helped me to figure out, what exactly do I know? Where does it start? Where does it stop? I don't know. It'd be nice to find out.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this today. I really appreciate it, and I know that the world needs more Wyatt, so I hope you start making videos soon.
Yeah, I know you'll get me there. Thanks for making it happen.